What's up everyone, welcome back. Patrick here. In this next video, what we're going to do is express the following sets over here in interval form. So we're going to be getting some practice in with intervals and also set operations. Notice we have intersections and unions throughout here. So starting with A, we have to find the intersection of these two intervals. So notice this is a full closed interval, this is an open interval. What parts of both is common in both, right? What's in this one and in this one, that's what the intersection means. Now for these kinds of questions, sometimes it helps to make a number line. So you can make a number line for both and make sure that both are on the same scale and then just see it visually. So -5 to -2, that would be like over here. This is a closed interval, right? It's inclusive of both of these because of the square brackets. And then -7, if we make it the same scale as this, would be like over here. And then -4 would be over here. So this would be open, open because of the circle brackets. So this first one is asking, what is common in both? Well, if we put these together, what part is going to be common? Notice it's going to be this area over here, but it's not inclusive of the -4 because even though this interval has the -4, this one doesn't. But both of them do have the -5. So we would put -5 to -4, but the -4 is a circle bracket like that. Right? Does that make sense? What's common in both, if we sort of look at both of these, which parts are common? It's this area that's common in both. This area is not in this one, and then this area is not in this one. Only this area is in both. The -5, it starts at the -5. -5 is in both, so we include the -5, but goes up to -4, but -4 is here, but it's not in this one. Okay, so that's what the answer would be. If you showed this on a number line, you may get questions asking for that. You would just put -5, -4, open, closed, like that. That's what the answer would be for part A, whether in interval form or a number line. They didn't ask for the number line, but I'll put it anyway. And then part B, we're actually working with the same intervals, but it's a union now. So it has to be in this one or in this one. This one was this one and that one. This one here is this interval or this interval. So in this case, it doesn't have to be in both of them, just has to be in either or. Well, what you can do here is look at the furthest left point from both, which is -7. The -7 is open, to the furthest right endpoint from both, from either or, and that would be -2, and then -2 is closed over here. And so that's the answer, right? All the values from -7, greater than -7, but less than or equal to -2. Anything in between there is going to be in either this or that. If you express this on a number line, it would be -7 open and then -2 closed, like that. All right, so that's the answer for part B. Now moving on to part C. Again, let's draw a number line here. So we got 0 and we got 0. So we got -4 to 0, inclusive of both. That's the first interval, this one. And then here we got -6 to -4, but the -6 is not inclusive. The -4 is inclusive. Sorry, I didn't even draw the line here. Like that. Right, so this is the intersection. So what's common in both? Well, notice that the only thing common is the -4. Right? There's no other parts of both intervals that are common, only the -4. This, if we're reading from left to right, this interval ends at -4 while this one begins at -4, and it's inclusive for both. So -4 is the only element. Now if there's only one element, you could put in set notation even though they ask for interval form. Interval form with one element, it would be like this. So you may want to follow up with your prof or teacher, asking them if you get an answer like this with one element, would they want it in this notation or this kind of notation over here, right? But this one is the more common one, even though that's set notation, it's not interval notation. And then on a number line, really simple, it would just be a dot at -4, right? That's the only element. Part D, it's the same thing, almost the same thing, but the -4 is now not inclusive, so this is open instead of closed like it was before. So they're asking what's common in both now if we just close this interval here instead of, or open this interval here instead of having it closed at the -4. Well, then the answer is nothing, right? There's nothing common then. This one's beginning at -4, it's inclusive of -4. This one's ending, but it's not inclusive of the -4 anymore. And then there's no other elements. This area is not in this one, then this area is not in this one. So there would actually be, it would just be the null set. So you can symbolize it like that, or in set notation, there would just be the brackets with nothing in between, right? That's the answer for part D. And then part E, we got -4 to -2. So we got -4 to -2 closed. And then we got 2 to 4, which would be over here. Open, closed, like that. So two intervals that have no overlap at all. Right? Notice how the other ones had overlap. This one has no overlap at all. They're just both different areas on the number line. So the intersection between them, same thing as part D, there is none. So it would just be the null set. But what's the union between these? What's in this or that? Well, we would just actually keep it separate like that. The answer, if you put it on a number line, you would actually put it on one number line. Like that. But that would be the answer, and you would just actually leave it like this, right? I don't think there's another way to write this. You maybe there's a way to write like or in between, but it would, you can just leave it like this. There's no way to take these two intervals here, the union between them, and then combine them into one interval like we did above, right? Because they're both, there's no overlap in between them, right? They're both different. So this actually would just be the answer to part F.